Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at people share the deepest family secrets. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. My father was the most caring man. He loved his family. One day when I was 6 years old, I came home with bleeding cuts on my legs from the babysitter's beating. With no warning, he jumps in his car headed to the babysitter's house. My mom had no car, so me and her catch a bus to the babysitter's house. By the time we got there, the police were there. The husband was in an ambulance, and some of the living room furniture was thrown out the window. My father had kicked in the front door and beat up the husband. He couldn't get to the wife because she locked herself in a room, so he started throwing furniture out the window. If he would have got to her, he would have killed her. Never knew my father could get so angry. He only spent 2 nights in jail because all the police understood. The mother was charged with child abuse. I still have the scars. Oh my gosh. This makes me want to cry, man. Yeah, I feel like most dads would have done what this father would have done, honestly. The stupid babysitter. Seriously, beating up someone's kid? You're literally paid to look after someone's kid. Trashy. My paternal grandfather had a girlfriend on the side. The entire time I knew him. When my grandmother died, he married her and completely disregarded us until right before he died. It was a life-changing lesson on how people you truly think you know have secrets. That's true, hey. That's very true. It's just like how someone marries a serial killer without knowing that they're a serial killer. Like, that's such a big secret and they just never know it. That's crazy. Whew. My great-great-grandmother and her sister killed the neighbor in 1916 because he assaulted my great-grandmother. The man was known around town as a predator and there was never an investigation. The sheriff's deputies just took his body away and the town buried it in an unmarked grave. Good riddance. Everyone was like, glad he dead. Nice. I was a very sick baby. My dad worked 2 full-time jobs to get 2 separate insurance policies. Spent 22.5 months in a children's hospital type sick. So when they released me, the doctor discharging told my parents he highly recommended a heart and respiratory monitor. Then only my pediatrician could prescribe it or insurance wouldn't pay. We were super poor and had no way to finance it alone. So when we went to see my pediatrician, he advised against it, stating that it wasn't necessary. Now, by this point, the doctor that had been caring for me in the hospital had been calling daily to check on me. She was adamant it was needed. My dad, until we got one, had been laying awake at night with me on his chest to monitor my breathing, more than once having to do a sternum rub to restart my breathing. So dad goes back to visit the doctor with just me. Now the story goes, he asks the nurse to step out and immediately slams the door and locks it. Picks this doctor up by the throat and as calm and cold as he could be, said, "My son needs this. You're the only thing stopping that. If he dies because he didn't have it, I will come back there and make you suffer. Then my wife will sue your family into the ground and make them suffer." We left with a prescription and a new doctor. Side note, yes, this was extreme behavior, but I'm glad. That machine saved my life no less than a dozen times. Wow, good. Oh my gosh. Some doctors just shouldn't be doctors, honestly. Like, they don't have the patient's best interest at heart. They're just like, yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. Like, they don't even care. Well, some doctors, that is. Some doctors are amazing, and there are some doctors who just are in it for the money. My cousin killed his mother with elder neglect just to inherit her money and to get rid of her as a nuisance. What the heck? That's scary. Your own child can do this to you? No thank you to having kids. No thank you. My step-grandfather killed my grandma when she told him she was leaving him for being abusive. His family helped cover the entire thing up and told the police it was suicide. When you have money, right? So many people didn't get their justice. That's so upsetting. My mum was allegedly adopted in the 70s, but we found out about 5 years ago that my grandparents actually just straight up kidnapped her, like baby snatched her at a park, and her biological parents had been looking for her since. Although her biological mum died as well before she found out, which is very sad. She died never being reunited with her stolen child. That's so sad. They just snapped someone's baby and then just raised her like their own. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so upsetting. This is about my adoptive grandfather and it took place in the 1960s. He owned a big farm in the country and was a truck driver. At the neighboring farm, the father in the family traveled for work and had 3 young daughters at home. One day, the wife talked to my grandfather and said that the girls were seeing a man looking and potentially trying to get into the windows at night. My grandfather took the law into his own hands to rid of the neighborhood of the sexual predator. He made a grid of wire outside the windows and energized it with an electric fence charger. He then sat patiently inside the house with his shotgun that night. Sure enough, around the time the girls reported seeing the man, he heard cries as the man became tangled in the wire and was getting shocked. By the time he got outside, the man, now a bloody mess, had freed himself and was running towards the cornfield. My grandfather peppered his ass with some birdshot and he ran through the rows of corn. The man never returned. Yeah, for sure. He ain't ever gonna come back, man. Jeez. Good on this grandpa. He just saved so many girls. Honestly, good on him. Wow. If only that man couldn't walk ever again, you know, then he wouldn't be hurting any other girls. I had my dad do a DNA test so we could find information about where his family came from. My dad was never faithful to either of his wives. He was stationed in Korea for 1 year. I've been contacted by 12 different people from Korea who did DNA tests and matched to him. I've had 6 people contact from the areas that I had grown up. I know 3 others personally. All in all, my father has 25 kids. I've not told anyone in my family about the abundance of kids. I also found out my father is not my biological father. I've not told anyone about this. Wow. What the... That's confusing as. His father has 25 kids, but he's not one of his father's kids. That's confusing. So his mum had a kid with somebody else, but the dad, I don't even know, man. I guess the dad was like, oh, I guess this is my kid because I just have so many wives. I wouldn't know. Wow. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.